Hello. So just a few days ago, we lost Regis. Now, Regis is probably most well known for his hosting of the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Now, for those of you who didn't see that show or don't recall it, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was basically a quiz show where each contestant would start out at a low level. I think it was maybe $10,000, and they would be quizzed questions by Regis. And as they got the correct answers, the questions got progressively harder. So they would start at 10,000 with a relatively easy question that a second grader could answer. And then they would go up 25,000, 50,000, all the way on up to $1 million. And of course, the $1 million question was virtually impossible. It was just an extremely difficult question. And these were multiple choice questions. But the way the game show was set up, you had, I think it was 3 lifelines. And so you had these lifelines you could use when you needed them to keep going. And then, of course, at any time, you could have just stopped where you were and taken that amount of money. So if you were at the $500,000 level, you could have just took that and not gambled on the $1 million question if you didn't know the answer. So the lifelines, the 3 lifelines, I think they were poll the audience. So you could, the studio audience, you could ask them what they think the correct choice is. You could do, I think the other one was eliminate 2 of the choices. So then you have just 2 choices, so a 50-50 chance. And then the 3rd lifeline was phone a friend. Now, this one was sponsored, I think, by like AT&T, and you would select, prior to the show, the smartest people you know, right? And hope that when you call them, they can give you what they believe is the correct choice, the correct answer. So those were the lifelines that you're given in the show. Now, Regis took part in the greatest moment in game show history. The greatest moment in game show history. You can find this on YouTube. But absolutely the greatest moment in game show history is what I remember Regis the most for. So let me set this up for you. So this greatest moment in game show history, the situation is we have Regis and our contestant, and the contestant has successfully made it to the $1 million question. And the young man, he has 1 lifeline remaining. So, of course, he reads the question, impossibly difficult. And he turns to Regis and says, I'd like to use my final lifeline, phone a friend. And so Regis asks him, well, who would you like to call? And he says, I'd like to call my dad. So Regis gets the dad on the line, and Regis explains to the father, he's like, hey, we got your son here. He's made it to the $1 million question, and he's calling on you for help. And when you hear his voice, when you hear your son talking, as soon as you hear him, you will have 30 seconds to hear the entire question, the 4 choices, and then give him some guidance. What is the best answer, right? So Regis turns the line over to the young man, the contestant, and he immediately is like, hey, Dad, how's it going? And his dad's like, going good. And of course, by this time, 15 seconds has already gone from the 30-second clock. So everybody in the studio audience and the million of people watching this game show are all just like, oh my gosh, everybody's on the edge of their seat, with this $1 million question. And finally, it seems like an eternity, the son finally says to his dad, he's like, Dad, I'm not calling you for help. I'm not calling you to ask you to help me with this question. I'm merely calling you to let you know that I'm fixing to win $1 million. And he turns to Regis, gives Regis the correct answer, final answer. And so, of course, he wins the $1 million. And this really makes me think about lifelines. So in life, all of us have lifelines. We have friends we can call. You have your parents. You have your faith. And really, the level of faith that this young man displayed is just impressive. So he knew without a shadow of a doubt that he had won that $1 million. He knew he had the correct answer. And I think most of us, even if we thought we knew, when $1 million is on the line, we still would have asked that person on the other line, on that lifeline. We still would have got an affirmation that you did have the correct answer. But this young man had total faith, total faith. He knew absolutely that he had his goal, that he was going to get the $1 million. And he knew it so much that he didn't ask for help, didn't plead, didn't request. And I think about how I use my lifelines most of the time. Now, my dad is gone, and I lost him about 20 years ago. But I still reach out to him, and I still think, well, what would he tell me right now? What would he do? What would be his advice? And I still spend time in prayer and meditation seeking that. And of course, my Heavenly Father, God, I seek Him, right? And I seek the same thing. And I got to thinking about, how do I use that lifeline? Most of the time it's been in a pleading, begging, asking way, right? Like, can you please help me? What do I do? I'm never going to make this. I can't accomplish this goal. It's not going to happen. I need you. I need you. I need you, right? It's this pleading, begging, which does not display faith. So I've challenged myself to spend a little more time on that lifeline saying, hey, I got this. Thank you. Thank you for helping me. Thank you. I know you're already there. And how much of a better call would that be to your lifeline when you call up and say, hey, you know what, Dad? You've given me the tools that I need. I'm just calling to let you know tomorrow I'm going to ace that job interview. Tomorrow, whatever I've got in front of me, I'm going to nail it. And I'm just letting you know, thank you. So how much better would it be to display some faith instead of constantly asking for protection, for, look over me, watch over me, be with. Instead of asking, just go ahead and have faith that that's going to be there. It's promised to you. And when you get on that lifeline, just go ahead and start talking about some thank yous and some gratitude and some faith that the best thing for you has already happened. Hey, I hope you have a great day. And if you get anything out of these videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below here on YouTube. And also go over to biologistbarlow.com and make sure to subscribe at my website as well. I try to post stuff anytime I get an insight or a bright idea. And again, if it's helpful, that's great. Make sure to subscribe and feel free to share as well. And have a great day.